All stations. Live with cats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read? I hope this time I've got the audio on as well. A very good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to everyone. Sorry for the bad edit over here. Let's get started with our new series of sessions, which we have titled Becoming a Pilot. This is the first season, first episode, and I'm going to give you all the tips and techniques that you need to ensure you're planning to become a commercial pilot is the best plan that we could have in today's time and age. So I got this idea. Uh, I got this idea when one of our students reached out to us saying that, sir, I have passed 10th right now and I am in 11th. And what should I do? When should I start? I'll just show you the query that ignited this idea in my mind, which was, let me share with you, which made me realize that it would be better because these queries are genuine queries, and I get very, very happy and very relaxed in my mind when I see that youngsters who are in standard 8, 9, 10th, 11, 12 are pre-planning their journey into choosing commercial aviation with respect to their focus on being flying an aircraft or becoming a pilot. So, welcome to the first episode of first season of Becoming a Pilot. And I'll share with you the query and we'll address the query. It's one of our students, I would say, not really a student, I would say somebody who has been in touch. But yes, I hope you can see the screen. I've taken a screenshot. As you must know, I'm very protective about my students, so names are not disclosed. So this question, what to do after passing 12th through PCM? So the student asking this question has just cleared 10th and is in 11th. All right. And he is starting to plan his career and making inquiries to all the ground schools. And probably he's also doing it with flight schools. Maybe that's how he reached out to me. After asking the student as to how did you get to know about me, generally the way students get to know about us is when they have attended a few of our lectures on YouTube. But the student said, I just found you on Google and I'm just making a random inquiry. And that told me that, okay, probably has not attended our lectures. But then he did give me an idea as to I could do something so that I could make the answers to these tough questions easier for students to grasp or to get. So what to do after passing 12th through PCM? Give me an idea of starting with becoming a pilot. And the first thing that we need to ensure before we choose to become a pilot in today's time and age is something that I'm going to share in this episode of Becoming a Pilot, Season 1, Episode 1. Nothing is scripted, everything is live. I hope my voice is reaching out to you all. I don't like negative comments, so I have disabled comments. If you need to reach out to me, information is there in About section. You can directly reach out on the contact number, and that is there. So, how or what would be my best path to become a commercial pilot? When do I really start it? When do I really plan things? How do I make sure my planning is best so that I get the best out of my training phase? And then, of course, I would want to deserve best for the rest of my life. Now, as per requirements of the civil aviation government, I need you all to know anything and everything that you need to do to become a commercial pilot. It has to go with our Ministry of Civil Aviation. Under Ministry of Civil Aviation, we have an appointed authority known as Directorate General of Civil Aviation, commonly known as DGCM. Everything and anything that you require to do would be with respect to DGCA when it comes to getting a commercial pilot's license. So I see that many youngsters and working professionals and engineering professionals alike, they all want to try their luck, or I would say they all want to fulfill their desire to be a commercial pilot. I love aviation. Aviation has been my first passion. Since the time I remember, I could not even speak, I guess. Probably I was able to speak, but I remember I was going to one of my relatives and I saw a plane flying in the air and I asked my parents, what is that? And they said they used to say this in this term, which was, I think, in my mother tongue, and that was cheel gadi. And I didn't know what was a cheel gadi, but I did know what was cheel. Cheel is a traditional word in from where we belong, like my forefathers belong. Cheel is for eagle, and they call it eagle automobile or eagle car, or maybe a flying eagle, something that looks like an eagle. I really like the term cheel gadi, and I was like, what is it? And back then we used to see just one aircraft in the air at a specific time, especially only if I went to my grandmother's place. And I remember that, and that I was so small I could not even talk, but I remember these terms. This tells me how my passion has been driven. And whenever a youngster reaches out with respect to looking for instructions how to become a pilot, it takes me back to that point. So I want to take it as seriously as I can so that I can prevent from my budding youngsters all across the country to be misguided. And this is why we are doing this. So let's come to the point, becoming a pilot. What is the first requirement that this Ministry of Civil Aviation require for us to become a commercial pilot or to get a commercial pilot's license that will allow us to apply for a commercial pilot's job? Firstly, we check with DGCA as to what are the requirements. When you go through the DGCA website, there is a term called CAR. CAR stands for Civil Aviation Requirements. This is your go-to section to get any information that you need. More on to how to get the information in the upcoming episodes for the same. So DGCA specifies that in order to become a commercial pilot in India, you need to have a commercial pilot license. In order to get a commercial pilot license, you need to suffice or you need to meet a few basic requirements. What are these basic requirements? These basic requirements are: a student should be 10 plus 2 passed or equivalent with physics and maths. Now remember, the idea that we got was what to do after 10 plus 2. So the student, whoever asked this to us, they know that, okay, they have to do 10 plus 2 with physics and math. But my job is to ensure that you all know pre-hand as to what you need to do. So 10 plus 2 or equivalent education qualification, it could be a diploma, it could be commerce, it could be arts. What to do if it's a diploma? If it's a diploma, you need to get a certificate issued by a diploma issuing board to give you an equivalency certificate that states that your 3-year diploma course has been equivalent to 10 plus 2 physics and maths. What if you're a commerce or an arts graduate? If you're a commerce or an arts 10 plus 2 graduate, then all you have to do is do physics and maths through any of the open schooling systems that offers it. One of the most accepted ones is the NIOS scheme that is there. So for you, it becomes important to understand that after 10th, or maybe the first requirement to ensure that you are eligible to become a CPL is to get a qualification relevant to 10 plus 2, which will have equivalency or which will have physics and maths in total. Students who are a student of science background should ensure that select physics and maths as they go ahead after 10th. Even if they don't, it's okay. You can get physics and maths as an added subject through NIOS or any other open schooling that is accepted by DGCA, and then you can submit your documents. But 10 plus 2 equivalency is not the only thing that will make you eligible to get the license. Let's talk about important deals. This is just one basic requirement. Once you get your 10 plus 2, you need to register with DGCA, and DGCA will accept your registration by the issuance of a computer number. I call it CN for my quick reference. Now understand, aviation is a stream where we'll be using a lot of abbreviations. So I'm going to use this abbreviation. How to register for computer number? I'll be doing this topic probably in episode 2 or episode 3 or 4, but I'll make sure that it is said before episode 5. This season will have 5 episodes as per my plan. So first you register for the computer number and see if it gets approved. How to apply, what is required for computer number, we'll be covering in the other episode. Once you get your computer number, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to appear, or maybe you are eligible to appear for your ground papers that are essential for you to prove or for you to present when you're applying for a commercial pilot's license. So, in order to understand this in a better way, how to get a CPL license? In order to get a CPL license, first we need computer number. In order to get computer number, we need 10 plus 2 with physics and math. There are more documents, but it is okay. Basic requirement is 10 plus 2 physics and math. Second thing, you need papers. What do we call what do we mean by papers? Papers are nothing but segregation of CPL as an individual subject. So what are CPL studies branched out into? So CPL studies are branched out into, I could say, 5 subjects in general. Out of these 5, 4 are essential for you to clear and show the proof of clearance of the papers or passing the papers when you're applying for the CPL license. Okay. So first we say when we talk about papers, we have something that is one of my favorite subjects, which would be radio telephony, restricted aeronautical. More onto it in episode that we'll do about what are the essential subjects and why. Second, I would say most importantly that I would suggest my students to start studying with the moment they clear 10th, 11th, or 12th, doesn't matter. If you have the right teacher, you can start your studies as good as from standard 8, 9, 10th also. It doesn't matter because aviation is a passion. Second, I would like to say would be air navigation. Third, I would say would be air or aviation, let's say air regulations. Fourth would be aviation metrology, metrology with respect to aviation perspective. And fifth, and my most beloved subject of all, is technical. Technical actually teaches about the aircraft and how the aircrafts actually fly and what are the systems and how the engines of the aircraft work and are essential to generate flight. I mean, I love this subject. If you had given you a chance to ask me any questions, you would have asked, sir, tell me more about tech, and then I would go on and on and on till the time I finish your syllabus for tech. Just to give you a heads up on tech, tech teaches you how the aircraft actually flies. It teaches you how the engine actually develops thrust, and it teaches you how the actual system of the whole aircraft works. So RTRA actually deals with how to communicate in aviation. So it is all about communication, is one of my specialities at ICATS. Air navigation teaches you how to navigate in air. I would love to do a session on this for all youngsters. Let me see if I can get some time. Air regulation teaches you about all the laws that you need to suffice, minimum requirements. So all that I'm talking about right now is derived from air regulations, nothing else. Aviation meteorology for us to understand the playground where we do all our flight. And what is the playground that we do all our flight at? It's the environment, it's the atmosphere, it's the air. So meteorology talks about all the different elements and fundamentals that will actually show you, teach you, make you realize, okay, everything that you see in air right now has a term that can affect the safe flight or conduct of your aircraft when you're flying as a pilot. So aviation meteorology actually gives you an idea about air, or it is all about understanding the atmosphere where you fly. You don't fly on ground. The moment you take off, lift off, you are in air. Just not that much. We need that air for the engines to give us thrust. That's not just that. We need the air or the difference between the pressure in air from over a wing and above a wing for us to generate what we call lift. That is what makes our aircraft fly. This is something that was discovered finally by the Wright brothers for the first heavier than air powered flight. Heavier than air, lighter than air. All these terms are what are the terms that you're going to see when you start your actual studies towards commercial aviation or becoming a pilot. So I would say aviation meteorology will teach you about everything and anything that is in air: clouds, rain, seasons, winds. Winds play such an immense role to ensure or to push you away from your desired track. And then we have technical general. Technical general, I love the subject. Aerodynamics. Aerodynamics is how air ensures that aircrafts can fly. Then we have engines. What is the importance of engine? You cannot fly without engines unless you're flying a glider, unless you're flying a hot air balloon. And then, of course, you have systems. Aviation meteorology, I would say weather, or you can say atmosphere, or you can simply say air. Out of this, as per your plan to become a pilot, you need to ensure that DGCA at the moment requires a proof of clearing these papers, out of which these three are papers, I would say, and I'm regulating it in order of priority that I advise my students. Regulations meant together, navigation and RT1. RT in itself is an independent license. More about RT when we do next episode of the same session. So what to do after 10 plus 2? After 10 plus 2, you're required to do all this. And tech you need by the time you graduate from your flying school, at least. Do not delay it more than that. If possible, you can do it with all these subjects. But with respect to how that competition is working today, I advise my students to ensure that you have cleared all these papers together first. Then you finish your flying training, which has to be a minimum of 200 hours from an approved flight training organization. That is what they mean by FTO. Minimum 200 hours is the syllabus given by DGCA for you to have, finished flying with. Clear 4 papers, clear your flying from an approved flying school, clear your class 1 medical. In the meantime, that you're doing along with your, I would say, flying school, because class 1 has a validity of 1 year. You will need all 3 documents, like 3 sets of documents. One would be proof of having finished your flight training. Second would be a valid class 1 medical. And third would be these 3 or 4, these 3 papers and one RTRA license. More about this when we do the next episodes on our series, Becoming a Pilot. So when a student asks, what should I do, sir, after 10 plus 2? I would say, this is what you're required to do after 10 plus 2. But is this the entire plan? I would say no, this is not the entire plan. This is the government requirement. Now we need to be careful. This is something that anybody knows and everybody knows. This is something that you would already know. Then what is it and why am I doing this? Am I doing this to give you obvious information? I would say not really. I try to spend my time to give you something that you are not getting from elsewhere. So what is it? What is that advice that made me think that, okay, I should make a public video and make sure that I just don't make one video, but I make a series of videos, and I had to name and categorize it. What is it? So see, the moment you give your 10 plus 2 exams, the board exams, any state board that you go through, you get some time in between the board exams and by the time you get your results. That much of time, what are you supposed to do? Secondly, once you get your results, you have to apply for computer number. But that is not how instantly you can apply for computer number for most of the boards in India. You have to also get a document known as board verification certificate, which could take some time. Depends upon board to board. CBSE boards give us a very simple way of getting it instantly through an online procedure. But most of the other boards require some time. So the time to wait for 10 plus 2, then the time to get our documents ready for computer number could be a span of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 months. So what should a student do after 10 plus 2 when we have to think about the main topic of the episode or the main title of the episode, what to do after 10 plus 2? I'll say the moment you're done with your exams, if you're really passionate about aviation and the knowledge behind it, take a short break for a week or two, because you must have been drained with respect to preparation for your boards, and then start your ground studies even before you get your results, even before you get your mark sheets, passing certificates, or board verification certificates, even before you apply for computer number. Why? Because that would save at least 6 months of your life time. And those 6 months could be a difference between you getting an opportunity to apply for a vacancy, or you having to wait to apply for a vacancy. If you're too laid back thinking I'll do everything in peace and all, then I understand. Your passion compared to others would be a little lesser, or maybe your planning compared to others would little be laid back. I don't mind it, but then it's my job to let you know that there are other students in your shoes who are working 4 times more than you are to ensure they are ready with the CPL in their hand and ready to bag the job or the opportunities that are rare or less compared to the number of aspirants. So this is my personal giveaway as to if you're thinking what to do after 10 plus 2, I would say you start with RTRA and navigation, irrespective of what anybody and anyone says. That will ensure that by the time you get your computer number, you would be ready to clear air navigation because it's a lengthy subject, new subject takes time. You won't have to wait another 3 months to just study air navigation. And why RTR? Because to ensure you are eligible for an RTR exam, you don't need an computer number. These two subjects are such subjects where you need a lot of practice before you can appear for exam and clear them. So doing it soon after you are done with your exams makes you ready the moment you get your computer number, the moment you get your email saying your computer number has been issued, you check DGCA portal and see if any exam sessions are available for you to apply. You can simply apply and give the exam within a span of 15 days just after getting your computer number. Just think about it. Just compare yourself with someone who will first register and then get a computer number. That would be 6 7 months, 4 5 months after giving their 10 plus 2 exams. And you already having studied and being thorough with your RT license in hand because it doesn't require a computer number. And the moment you get your computer number, you're giving the NAV exam and you are preparing for Regs and Med once you're done with NAV. And in a couple of months, you would be done with NAV, RT and MET exams. And just within 2 to 3 months of getting your computer number, you have all 4 papers in hand. I would say 3 papers and 1 RT license, provided you clear all in your first session. Not talking about can we clear all exams in first session. Believe me, if your training and studies and education is right, it is easy to do so. Sometimes it could take you a little more time to get it done. It is okay. This is how aviation is. With respect to 200 hours requirement, not every student pilot completes the requirement of flight training within 200 hours. They all have to do 210, 215, 20, 20, 40, how much ever it takes. Aviation has a philosophy. You become perfect and then execute your job. Some people get perfection quicker, some get it later. That is not how you will be judged. You will be judged with respect to your end knowledge and end performance. So the sooner you start your preparation, the better will be your performance on the day of interviews when it will be so crucial for you to be ready for your jobs. Job interviews, I should say. So what to do after 10 plus 2? You start with RT and navigation. As my personal advice, generally I reserve this advice only for the students who are the students of the academy. But I think that why not help everyone else? It's good to spread the good work, right? So that's about it. What to do after 10 plus 2? Doesn't end here though. Why? You must ask. You must be like, okay, sir, so when does this end? So your planning is very important. Why is planning so important? Why do you think aircrafts are so safe to fly? Years and years of planning goes into the design of an aircraft, and years of planning goes into the scheduling and operations of any airline. Even the maintenance of an aircraft, the most crucial aspect of commercial aviation, I would say, more than flying, I would say it's maintenance. Or I would say they go both hand in hand, but without maintenance, there would not be safe flying. Without good flying, maintenance job and work would increase. Maintenance, which is the backbone of civil aviation, is also pre-planned. Every aircraft is pre-planned to be maintained as and when other than other things. So why are we talking about planning right now? Sorry for that. Why are we talking about that right now? We're talking about it right now because after 10 plus 2, this is not the only job. Your job would be to ensure that you sign yourself up for good graduation. Now, CPL studies will take full time. If you're joining a graduation full time, you might not get enough time to study for CPL. So, how do you go about it? You go about it with respect to signing yourself up for a graduation course, which is your second passion after aviation, through a distance learning university. You do it now so that by the time you graduate from your flying schools, you have your graduation in hand. Now you must be thinking, sir, what are you talking about graduation? I just want my CPL license. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to fly after 10 plus 2. I'm like, I get it. I'm just like you. Then why would I suggest this as a guide, as a coach, as an instructor? It is because by the time you graduate, let's imagine it's me, just 10 plus 2 with CPL, and it's somebody else who has 10 plus 2 CPL and a graduation. And we both are going for the interview. Don't you think he will have more leverage with respect to qualifications than I have? Obviously. Another reason, another reason is that aviation goes through its ups and downs. In the past 4 decades or 40 years, we have seen a trend where we know that aviation is going to boom and aviation is going to fall, boom and fall. Because the investment in aviation is so high, and because the lows of the aircraft aviation industry are so bad, it is important for you, youngsters who are thinking about making a career, to be prepared for the for the worst, as well as prepared for the best. Now, preparation for the best is everything that I've said. Preparing for the worst would be this graduation and doing some sort of higher education on an industry that would be your second passion. I would suggest don't take aviation graduation or aviation masters, because if aviation is falling, temporary fall, I could say, that would last just for a few years, having a master's in aviation will not help you bounce back. So choose, think about a second passion after aviation. Think about available courses. There are amazing distance learning universities which are worldwide recognized. Make a list of all the things that you would like to do. Minimum studies, minimum assignments, no attendance required, just semester exams. It's like a piece of cake. Just hardly have to work hard for 15 days on a span of, what do we say, 6 months to get done, every 6 months to get that graduation done. So when you are at the stage where you are in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and when thinking about what to do after 10 plus 2, there are a lot of things that you have to think about. You start your studies ASAP after taking a week or two's break once your boards are over. Study for RT and NAV. Clear RT before even you get your computer number, because you don't need computer number for that. By the time you get your computer number, be ready to give NAV exams. Then on the side, if you have good instructor, if you have good academy, otherwise I'm always here. I'll guide you that, be introduced to MET and REG, so that the moment you have given NAV exams, you can start with REG and MET. And the moment you start doing Reg and Met, you would be on the hunt for a good flying school where you think the money and the pace together, the best match happens. Then you finish your flying school after having cleared RT and all papers. This is essential. Why? We'll cover it in the another episode. Once you are done with your flight training, ensure you have a valid class 1 medical license, medical certificate. And once you have all these documents ready, apply to DGCA, get your CPL license, and that's how you become a commercial pilot. But then that is how to get a commercial pilot license. How to ensure you have a good and a steady career, whether aviation goes up or down, is to ensure that you know what is your second best passion and you choose a graduation course through a distance learning university that is worldwide approved and accepted. Many such universities exist in India, where the fees is nothing more than a few thousand for every semester or a year. It is easily affordable. and it doesn't take more of your time that you would want to give to aviation. So if you think about a plan, so let's say a 10 plus 2 guy has done it in 2023, and if you go ahead with this plan, then by the time you are at 2026, okay, you should have your CPL, if possible type rating also, more about it on the next episode. Plus, you should also have a graduation. This is very important, as important as CPL and added type rating. Type rating won't be difficult to get. Hardly less than 2 months' time, you get a type rating done. More about all these things, how to budget, how to ensure, how to choose a school and everything. More about it on the upcoming episodes of Becoming a Pilot. So this student, your target should be within 3 years from your past 10 plus 2 or given 10 plus 2, you need your CPL, you need your graduation at least. There are multifold benefits to this, and my desire is to ensure that our future aviation industry is filled with self-made, dedicated, passionate, deserving pilots and aviators. I want to ensure that every time I board an aircraft, I see a pilot who has been one of our students. And seeing that pilot, I feel that, okay, I am not worried about a single thing. It's not just the art of flying an aircraft, it is also the theory behind it, which is very important. Commercial aviation or aviation is what such industry where your theory is 100% or actually more applicable to your real world life. The only thing that will separate you from other people from growing in an airline after you become a pilot would be your knowledge, and that knowledge is something that you have the opportunity to gain before you start flying after 10 plus 2. And the most idealistic plan, in my opinion, as of present day, is something that I'm disclosing to y'all. So think about it before you invest a single rupee. Planning is more essential than anything else. Even when you will fly as a commercial pilot, let's say you're going to fly from one metro city to another, let's say from Delhi to Mumbai, there would be a lot of planning involved behind it. But you as a commercial pilot would just be briefed about it a few moments or few hours before the flight. But there would be a team of a lot of people, including flight dispatchers, who would have planned it beforehand as long as 3 months in advance. If you want to become a good aviator, you need to understand the importance of planning. Everything is planned first on paper and then sent to the government or the air traffic controllers or the area control centers or the flight information centers for approval. If they approve, only then you will be conducting the flight. So all the flights that will conduct in civil or commercial, in civil aviation, is also known as commercial aviation, would be as per the plan that you have made. So for you, the main asset should be your ability to plan well. And your planning starts from as good as when you are sure or when you realize the passion and dream to fly. It could arise when you are in sixth standard, when you're in seventh, when you're in fifth standard, or when I realized it. When I remember, I could not even speak for other things, but I knew that what is it, and it was an eagle car in my mother tongue. And today I know that was nothing but a flying bird through history of time and an airplane in today's words. So this is what I want to say. This is what I would advise to a question that is asked to me, which is, sir, what should I do after 10 plus 2 PCM? I say you start studying RD-NAV. You also sign up for a distance learning graduation. Get your CPL by learning well, getting your licenses, training well, getting your medical, staying fit, also having done graduation within 3 years. Sometimes it could take another extra year. Good thing about distance learning universities is they give you 5 years instead of 3 years to finish graduation. More on that probably in maybe next episodes or maybe next season. But if there's anything and everything that you need, anything that you need to know, just drop them a message, drop us a message or an email. This is a place you will get where you're going to get genuine advice, free support, something where we are not taking anything from you. We want you to be self-dependent. So be careful, make the right choice, and ensure that your planning is foolproof before you even think about spending anything. I was too nervous before I could do this. The last time when I tried to do it, I had a 30-minute video done, but then I realized my video didn't get recorded. So I hope this time you can hear me. If not, students, just let me know. And if you're still thinking how to reach out with your queries so that we could do more episodes, check the about section. I'm sure I have put it there. So that being said, students, when I started my aviation education, I got a small tabletop pen holder from one of my elder sisters, my guides. On that, there was a small caricature of Air India and a Boeing 747 of Air India. And and there was a etching in wood which said, "May you fly high and land up with the best in life." And I would never forget that moment because that was the day I was to join my education. And my education is something that has fulfilled my desire towards aviation because now I know everything there is to know. So if you're thinking your job is to fly, remember it all starts from the ground up. And you have to be thorough with your ground studies because that is the only place and time you will have the opportunity to learn anything and everything that will make you excellent as you go ahead and become a pilot and grow into your airline and then become just not a commercial pilot but a global aviator. I get excited about aviation history, so we're planning more things about it. Let's see how it goes. Forgive me for some errors that we would have made due to slip of tongue because nothing is scripted and nothing is pre-said. And that being said, may you all fly high and land up with the best in life. Take care, everyone.